After 20 years of faithful service, our old wall oven gave out. We wanted to replace it. We ended up getting an inexpensive one that had lots of problems, never worked right, and so we decided to just replace it with the wall oven and the cooktop with a conventional range, which meant we were going to have to do at least a partial remodel of the kitchen. So kitchen, it was about due. 50-year-old kitchen was about due for a remodel. So the first thing we were going to have to do was remove the pantry that we had built in the corner about 15 years ago, and then the ugly white cabinet across from it that we stored stuff in. So the first part of removing the pantry was taking the door off. Once we got that out, we had to remove the walls, and then we could work on disassembling the cabinet piece by piece and getting it out of the room. But we were glad to see that cabinet go. It served its purpose, but it was worn out. So where do we start next? The next step would be to get that oven out of the kitchen. So we had to patch up the drywall where we ripped out the cabinet, but then we got to removing that old oven and just ripping it out of the hole, and then we started carefully removing the cabinets of the kitchen, trying to keep the kitchen as functional as possible so we could use the kitchen, have a kitchen during this whole time. But we did finally get to take that old oven to the dump and get a few dollars for it. That was exciting. But eventually you had to take the sink out of the kitchen. You really miss the sink when you don't have it, but it was going to have to come out so we could start removing counters and cabinets. Without a kitchen sink, the dishes had to be washed in the bathroom sinks for a couple of days. We realized that the plumbing under the sink was going to have to be upgraded too. Just one of the things that got added to the process along the way. So we did get the wall oven and the bulkhead around it out, realizing that there was going to be more drywall needed to be replaced than we originally thought, as well as some subflooring being patched up. As we pulled the cabinets out, we found more and more things that had to be done, more electrical that was going to need to be done and upgraded. In the process, figure out the vent for the exhaust fan above the oven, and then came time to start installing drywall. Got a first piece in there. We had to remove the bulkheads above the kitchen cabinets and patch up the drywall up there as well. Most of that was going to be covered anyways with the new bulkhead, so we didn't have to be too particular there. We realized a little more electric work we were going to have to do. That box showed that it was 50 years old. So, but we got all the drywall up, which made an improvement in the room. Once the electrical was done, we could get all the drywall up. And you kind of felt like you were starting to really put things back together rather than you were done tearing apart, for the most part. But still, we're going to have to figure out exactly how we were going to handle the plumbing under the sink. That was going to have to be redone. So we had to tape and mud the drywall, finish that off, and then construct the new bulkheads above the cabinets, and paint the room. Give it a good couple coats of paint. We kept the refrigerator in the kitchen hooked up to the water line the entire time. Here we are picking out new cabinets, at the store, loading them up in the truck, in the trailer, and the van, hauling them home onto the front porch. It's time to start installing. We've got the big tall corner cabinet up first. Had to remove part of the bulkhead for that, but we got it in, worked out good. Then start in the corner with the upper cabinet, worked our way out. From there, I appreciate all the help I had on those, getting those up. Had to trim out the bulkhead around the cabinets, around the ceiling, slowly get other cabinets in. We did have one cabinet door we couldn't open because it ran into the ceiling fan, so we had to move the ceiling fan a couple inches. But little by little, we got the top cabinets done, and then we could start working on the bottom cabinets. Once we got the sink base cabinet in, we could start redoing the plumbing. Get the dishwasher hooked back up and put the old sink back on top of it for the time being. Then we were able to plug the new oven in. It was great to have an oven, a full-size oven that worked properly. But yeah, until the new counters could be measured for and put in, we had the old counter sitting there. Some of the upper cabinets, they chose to paint them on the inside and not have doors, and then they could display their colorful Fiesta dishware. And that turned out pretty good. Showing some of the trim there around the cabinets. The floor, we had to rip out the old tile floor and the backing board behind that. It was quite a chore, busting it up, getting it out. But finally, the new kitchen countertops came, made a big difference. The new sinks integrated into that. We had more counter space, and we quickly started using it, put it right to work. Time to pick out the flooring, lots of choices there. Brought some pieces in and laid them in the kitchen, see if they would work, which they did. So we did the kitchen, and we did the laundry room at the same time. We had to remove everything from that and start putting the floor down in the laundry room. Took a couple days to work our way through to the kitchen and get the kitchen floor done. It turned out okay. So this was our old trash receptacle, kind of ugly, took up a lot of space, and we replaced it with a pull-out trash can, which was a great addition to the new kitchen. Time to pick out the backsplash tile. We went with a white subway tile. That was a bit of a task to get that up and get it straight, but the wall without the subway tile is much improved with the subway tile. So you get it all up, glued in place, let it sit for a couple of days, then you grout it all in, and the cat decides he's going to inspect it, which is frowned upon in our establishment. You'll see the aluminum foil on the counter to keep the cat off. But we had to get a new refrigerator during all this process, so we got one to match the new oven. These are the Fiesta dishes in their rack. It's displayed in the kitchen. Turned out better than I thought when I first heard the idea. I think it looks pretty good. We have two cabinets with the dishes displayed. So the new kitchen compared to the old kitchen, much better, more counter space, working appliances, and just it needed upgraded after 50 years. It was nice to have a full-size working oven. We could cook a turkey in for Thanksgiving. Worked out great. Turkey turned out great, and the whole family was happy to have a good meal. Thank you for watching.